Hard Rock Lunchbox.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Hard Rock Lunchbox. And if you're watching this on Strangerhood TV on YouTube, welcome to the top 20. How's everybody doing today? It has been a blistering warm July, and we are on our way out. It is July 31st, 2025. That's right, end of month 7, just coasting and cruising into the end of the year. Man, it has been really hot. I mean, I don't mean to keep talking about the weather, but I think what people don't really understand is just the reason, we didn't talk about the weather back in the old days, like a couple years ago, or maybe even 5 years ago, was because weather was just normal. Like, you remember, we didn't really talk about politics or the president all that often. That was just 10 years ago. Obama was president. We knew it, but we didn't wake up every day to wonder what Obama did next. And if he did something next, it was usually he just sank a hook shot and then smoked a cigarette in the back lawn of the White House. And that was a big enough scandal to get Republicans to try and impeach him. But the reason that weather is actually worth talking about, and the reason it wasn't worth talking about back then, was because, quite frankly, it was just boring. Weather happened, it was sunny, it was rainy, it was whatever. Seasons were seasons. It's you just needed to be aware if a storm was coming. The reason that weather is actually worth talking about now is because we have such tremendous weather that it really needs, alerts for people. And it's not even just, headlines to grab your attention. Heat dome can just swing from my nuts for all I care, but it's important to know if it's going to be 96 degrees with a real feel temperature of 105, because seriously, that can kill people that aren't really ready for it. That's a big deal. And what I find so absolutely funny on the right and climate deniers in general is that there is a very direct link to why we're having the weather we're having. And I go blue in the face explaining this to people all the time. And it really is because the way that climates work, it's little increments make a huge difference. The world has evolved in certain ways, and yeah, it goes through cycles for sure. We've survived heat ups, we've survived cool downs and stuff like that. But those things usually don't happen in the course of 10 years. You know what I mean? These are big deals. And what people don't realize is that, yeah, you raise the temperature a degree, sure, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. In your local area. But when you do it on a global scale and you're raising the global temperature 1, 2, 3 degrees, what happens is, as anybody that's ever boiled water knows, as you heat something, you're adding energy to it. And as anybody that has successfully boiled water knows, once you hit that threshold, you're creating nothing but chaos because you're basically converting liquid to gas at that point, and you've reached the breaking point of that water. But what's important is the amount of energy that's in that water. Well, we have that much more energy in our atmosphere, so our weather patterns and our weather fronts have that much more energy. I used to say, when, back in the day, we used to talk about weather coming in from the Ohio Valley, and if we had a low, we'd be pulling up weather from Virginia, maybe North Carolina. Now my guy on Pix 11 is talking about the weather we're pulling in from Florida. That means the front is that much bigger, which means it has that much more energy. So when it comes to town, it's really bringing an entire party. So that's why I talk about weather. I am sorry, I do not have any sort of recap from last week. I couldn't get to it, and I don't have the recap this week, and I'm sorry about that. I know there's a new video out. I know there's a new top 20 out. I know that I did no work for it whatsoever. I didn't do the bumpers. I didn't do any of that stuff. I just simply, I cannot handle the workload by myself anymore. I just can't. And also, I'm losing complete motivation to do it. The things that were fun about it and the things that I enjoyed doing it just don't exist anymore. So it's not something I can do effectively. I would consider not even bothering to post the top 20, but the reality is it takes very little work for me to clip it on the ends and upload it to Strangerhood TV, so I'm just going to do that. If there comes a point where it makes sense to, do more than just post it and title it, then I will. I didn't do any of the clips. I haven't posted I haven't done any of the reels or anything, which is, unfortunate. I mean, the driver in that is just the incredible amount of crap I caught on Instagram. Like, seriously, like, my formerly safe space, like, that just is not, like, I'm losing my last social media outlet, which just totally sucks. I really don't know what I'm going to do. And I know that sounds lame, like, cool, I'll go back to, like, the 70s and just watch, rolled fax machines and modems and stuff like that. It's not that. It's just Instagram was always something I liked, and now I don't. It's being ruined, and that just kind of sucks. But in addition to what's, the normal stuff, like, people were giving me such a hard time about my traffic stop whole take about how it was ridiculous to think that in 24 hours I could replace a headlight on an import and get it to the police station to get inspected. Like, even to the point where some asshat was like, oh, this dude thinks he needs to go to the police station for an inspection. It's like, no, dipshit. Like, what has to happen is to get it inspected, to get your ticket written off, you have to get it inspected by a police officer. And there you're generally found at a police station. Now, I suppose I could just speed through a school zone and I'll find myself a police officer there. Could you imagine with that interaction? Hey, do you know why I pulled you over? Yeah, I was doing 75 in the school zone, but can you take a look at my headlights really quick and just sign this? Like, I wonder if he has to. Like, he might have to, and that might be kind of funny. Like, just, I don't know. I'm not doing that. But it was just so disappointing. Like, not even upsetting. Like, I'm used to it. It's why I'm not on TikTok. Actually, I'm not on TikTok because I hate TikTok. But I do appreciate when people send me TikToks so I don't have to go on TikTok and find it. So, like, you can keep doing that. But, like, it was so not upsetting because I'm used to it, but it was so disappointing. It's like, I thought stupid people were on TikTok. And that's not to say anybody on TikTok is stupid. I just thought all of the stupid people were on TikTok. I thought they bounced on Instagram, and that could just be for me, but apparently I'm wrong. God, I am so goddamn tired. I am not sleeping well at all. I'm also breathless as F, just having, like, feels like near panic attacks all day. So, like, I'm not having one, but it's like, I feel like I'm on the approach, so I'm doing everything I can to mitigate that because those are unpleasant, as sadly, most of the people in my listening audience know exactly what panic attacks feel like, and that is not something that anybody wants to have, and it's certainly not something that anybody goes out of their way to get. In fact, I would argue you would go out of your way quite a bit to just not do that. But yeah, I mean, there's just so many factors that are going on right now that's just causing all that stuff. Not to mention, like, I am hiding away as much as possible from the politics in the world just because it is all bad. And I'm sad to say that, like, I was wrong in my initial take when I was saying back in, like, October and November and December, I was saying, like, okay, well, this happened, so, like, what do people and like-minded people like myself, what are we going to do about these things? And we were looking for, like, silver linings. That was, like, my whole thing, like, these silver linings. And I swore up and down that I did not believe that even a Republican-controlled Senate would just roll over and capitulate the way that it has. It's really bananas. And it just shows, like, what no backbone a lot of these Republicans have. I mean, like, good for Massey. Like, I don't agree with anything, but, like, he's really bucking the system over this Epstein thing because it matters to him. As opposed to somebody like Senator Jim Jordan, who was saying, like, he would absolutely never sign a bill that, was going to cut Medicaid in his district because his district is one of the highest per capita Medicaid recipients in the country. So he had a real good reason to stand on that, and then he caved. And his reason was because I met with the president and he promised me we would fix it down the road. Like, dude, that dude doesn't pay his contractors to put in a light bulb. Like, he's not going to give you Medicaid. Like, you're an idiot for even believing that. And I don't actually think he's an idiot. I think he just did the calculus and he doesn't want to get turfed out. I mean, there's an interesting dynamic going on in South Carolina for 2026 where one of these really deep MAGA Republicans is going to be challenging Lindsey Graham for the Senate seat, which to me is fascinating. Like, talk about a race to watch, because in my opinion, whenever the country goes way too far right, or whenever an area goes way too far right and pushes out an incumbent, that opens up that seat. Like, so I'm super interested to see what's going to happen, because I don't necessarily know that a deep MAGA guy is going to win in a general election, but he's definitely going to beat Lindsey Graham in a Republican primary, because Lindsey Graham is very unpopular. Even though he definitely cups the nuts of the president whenever he can, he's just not true MAGA, and we all know that, and he knows it, and he's just such a bitch anyway. But it's going to be interesting to sort of watch that. Also, what's important about this dude, whose name escapes me, is he's one of the architects of Project 2025, the thing that Trump said he'd never heard of and he wasn't involved in. But he's got about a 95% score with it right now because he keeps doing all this stuff. And the reason is, and I said it then, the reason is because Trump himself says he just really doesn't want to do the work. He's inherently kind of lazy. He likes to be a CEO. He likes to play golf. None of these things I hold against him. Like, he's, 70 whatever years old. Like, you want to play golf, play golf. But when that sort of happens, and we all found this out last time during the NSA meetings because they had to bring it, the entire national security assessment had to be dropped to one page because that was all he could focus on and all he would focus on. So this is somebody that doesn't really want to do the work, get into the nuts and bolts of things. So if you're that sort of person and somebody basically hands you a book on day one, like how to be president, like, cool, I'll just do this. Like, you ever see those, like, 5 things to be more successful, like, every day? It's like kind of, oh, cool, drink more lemonade, all right, start a business, invest in, AT&T, like all that kind of stuff. Like, if you just had a list of things to do and you could bang out your job by 11, I think most people would do that, unless you're truly magnanimous and actually care about what you're doing. But we know he doesn't. He said so. Like, he just... Anyway, I've been trying to shelter myself from politics. I'm doing a crap job, just like everything else in my life. I'm just doing it less than well, and it is just kind of how I'm going to roll these days. So it just, until I can pull myself out of this particular funk, I don't see, like, I'm trying to live very small, and I'm trying to live very quiet, because I think it's really the safest place for me right now. And given the turns in my mental health and the kind of like the precipices that I'm on in a lot of things, I'm really just trying to, like I said, stay small. A lot of my safe spaces have just evaporated from me, and I just don't have a lot of good places to turn. And with that said, I do want to thank anyone and everyone that has actually taken a minute out of their day and their very busy lives. And I know very few people that don't have serious complexities in their existence. So I know that it comes at a cost for them to take a minute and just sort of check in with me, or at least listen to me when I complain. Like, those people to me are incredibly valuable. And when they offer up that safe space where I can say something, no matter how unpleasant, no matter how difficult it is, or, whatever the processing is, like, it's my processing. Like, I'm just trying to go through what I'm trying to go through and get from one day to the next. And it is becoming rarer and rarer to find places that really don't push back against you or offer up judgment to you, or, like, it is just so easy just to be able to say something. And I don't need anybody to just flat out agree with me. Like, if people ever see holes in the stuff I'm saying, like, point them out. And, like, I value that too, and I feel like my closest assets really do that, and they will offer up suggestions, because there's nothing more frustrating than just sort of, like, just venting a whole lot of stuff and, like, really having a problem with it and basically just getting back, okay, like, that doesn't really help. Like, I appreciate the listen, but, like, if there's no concern or care or anything, then it's just a wall. Like, I really might as well be talking to this rock over here. This rock, by the way, incredibly cool. Like, this is actually one of my favorite rocks. Like, yeah, it's a fossilized dragonfly, which is very cool. Not to be confused with my Bimpy Award, which is right here. This is not a rock, so we can just keep that straight. And of course, everybody needs their emotional support dumpster fire, because that is really, if I had a spirit animal, it's definitely the emotional support dumpster fire. So. Got a couple other gadgets around here that help keep me safe and keep me sane. I appreciate that. So, I was going to talk about some other stuff, especially some of the music I've been writing lately, but I'm going to decide to not, because I don't want to. Instead, I'm going to end the top 20 with what I think might be one of the greatest noodle stories, probably not of all time, but it's a pretty good goddamn noodle story. And it was very funny, because so we're at rehearsal the other night, and somehow, I mean, it just, even saying it now, just boggles the mind. The noodle was out of wheat. First of all, I've known this dude, I don't even know, coming up on 15 years. Like, I have never known him to not have wheat. It's just, It'd be like if I said to you, it's like, yo, man, I'm out of sweat. Like, nobody, first of all, nobody would believe it. To second, nobody had ever seen it. And third, nobody would believe it again. So there's that. So he was out of weed. And he was kind of bumming about it. And I was like, why? He's like, all my sources dried up. And I'm like, yo, it's legal in New York. Like, you could just go and buy it. Like, and now I'm halfway considering just going to buy him some. Just because I can. Like, I've got my medical card, I can just go get it kind of wherever, and, that I could just do that, maybe. And maybe I will, but, like, it was just so funny to me that was, like, a thing. But here's the funny part. So, I don't really smoke. I tried for about 2 years to come back. I had smoked a lot of pot in junior high. I started really early. Like, I didn't start in 6th grade, so I was early. So, like, I was 11 in 6th grade. 7th grade, I started smoking pot. I was 12, right? I was up a grade. So I started smoking a lot, like a lot of pot. In fact, a friend of mine and I had borrowed a triple beam balance. You remember those from science class? And we had it. And so people used to actually come over to my house and they would weigh and split their bags because I had the triple beam balance. Like, this is before you had kitchen scales. Like, keep in mind, I'm from the 1900s, so, like, that's the kind of tech we used to have back then. But people used to come over to my house after school, Middleville Junior High, and come weigh out their bag. And the cost of that really was to just get me high. And that's a very small cost because they were getting high anyway. But yeah, so I smoked a lot, and I had smoked so much that by the time I was in my first year of college, I was getting migraines from it, so I stopped smoking pot. I stopped, not cold, but, like, I stopped, and then I would is it okay now? And I would just get headaches, so I just stopped. So once the legal marijuana revolution occurred, I was like, I'm going to give this a shot. They do a lot of work with terpenes and real directed and targeted stuff. So I was like, I'll try it to help me sleep. I'll try it to kind of, like, help me wake up. Like, and, like, a lot of people I know use it quite medicinally for, various reasons and various tasks that they're trying to do. Holy crap. Pain in my chest. Man, that's going to leave a mark. They use it kind of medicinally and all that other stuff, and that's great. But so I was trying it for like 2 years. I really gave it like a good concerted effort, and I would try different things. So as a result, I seem to always have weed. Like, I just always have like a little bit of weed here, either a pen, an oil, an edible, or some flour or whatever. So here comes the funny part. So everybody's seen this live, has seen the briefcase I carry. I carry that briefcase with me, kind of like wherever I go, band related. There's nothing of value in it, just so you know. It's like my earplugs, usually an extra mic clip. There's always guitar picks in there. There's Pepto-Bismol in there. There's lozenges in there. I mean, it's valuable if you're a singer, but please don't steal it. I'll just literally give you whatever you need out of it. But usually there's weed in there. And I was like, I think I probably have some weed. So I started going through my briefcase, and I'm pulling stuff out. And in the back of my briefcase, I have a bundle of sage. Now, if you don't know what sage looks like, it kind of looks like this. Like, I mean, this is an unused one, but, like, it looks like a big bundle of weed. And I pulled it out, and Noodle was like, oh, ho, ho. And I was like, I'm sorry, man. It's sage. And he was like, why do you have sage in here? And I was like, the reason I have sage in my briefcase is because often I'll go to the studio to record vocals, and it'll just be me, and the first thing I do when I get in there to do them is I sage the goddamn room. And it's not even to ward off evil spirits, because there's enough evil spirits in there. I don't even know that sage could do the job. But what I really try and do is I try and just clear the smell of not only the band, I mean, because seriously, like, we're all older than 30 and we rehearse with a small air conditioner, like you can imagine, but also the smell of cigarettes, like old cigarettes, not new cigarettes. New cigarettes is a lot more tolerable than old cigarettes. The smell of weed, the smell of beer, which gets spilled all over the carpet all the time. Keep in mind, I don't drink or smoke at practice. I am not contributing to this, but it is definitely part of my experience. So I always sage the room because it makes me feel better when I go to sing, but also it's a good time to sort of do that when nobody else is there. But needless to say, he was incredibly upset that I did not have any weed, but also had this bundle of almost weed, which he really wanted to be weed, but it wasn't. So I'm sorry from the top of my heart, dear Noodle, that it wasn't weed, but we've all got our we've all got our to shovel. So, but that's my story, and I feel like it's a good time to leave off on the top 20. As always, we end the top 20 with our local music block, and I didn't play it last week because it was a really super special premiere, but this past Friday, Craving Strange finally released, for me, an incredibly long-awaited single. I've been waiting for Not Another Roxanne since the very first moment I heard it. In fact, I was telling my oldest just the other day, because he likes the song too, and I was just saying, like, you know, I think this might be my favorite Craving song. I'm going to have to let it settle because it's new and that gives it a whole shiny thing. You know, obviously when you replace anything, the new thing is always shinier than the thing you had. I get to enjoy that all the time. So it's one of my favorite songs for sure. It might be my favorite song. And I was actually saying, like, I knew it the moment I heard it. And I referred to it as just like this magical moment I got to experience because of the career and the job that I do. Like, I don't know that I mean, I know other people get that, but like, I feel like I get more than my share of it because of the field I'm in. And I as I try and experience gratitude in various places in my life, and I am very successful at doing that, I just keep trying to find more and more of them to drag me through the day. This is definitely one of them, and I'm happy to play it for you right now. Sunlight